Yes, hello. My videocast is going to be on the Leading and Learning with One-to-One Laptops from Oretha Ferguson, teacher and technology coach at Southside High School. As you can see, I'm using Screencast, this website right here, Screencast-O-Matic, and I'm also using my own webcam from school. So, the title, I told you the title. The website is behind us, and I want to just take a moment and show you how this presentation is introduced. First 5 seconds.
This is no longer today's classroom, and hopefully neither is this. Students should be engaged, collaborating, researching, creating, thinking, solving problems, and embracing 21st century learning.
So I found it very interesting that the first picture was shown of very traditional classroom, teacher talking, students with pen and paper being the receivers, and also I like how the second one was shown with their heads down because the students aren't engaged. So I think we can all agree, based upon the presentation that I've gotten, we can all agree that nowadays a big problem with teachers is the students are not engaged. And would you rather be taking notes from pen and pencil, or would you rather have a one-to-one laptop, one-to-one tablet, something of that, something electronics to get your students stimulated and excited to be in your class and to learn? Our school that I'm teaching at now, currently next year, we're going to go one-to-one. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I really wanted to take time and for the next 2 months over this course and really start learning about the different ways to use technology and give myself some ideas on how I'm going to implement it in my own classroom. This presentation not only was about as far as the benefits of being one-to-one and how it means collaboration, creating solutions and solving problems through teams, learning through technology, basically being engaged. Also, the presentation gave great resources, and I'm going to list a couple of them right now. Penzu.com, it's a free journal. You can take notes, write essays, basically no more pen and paper. You can submit assignments via digital to the teacher. No more lost notes. It's all saved in the cloud. And I know myself, our whole school, we have a N drive on the hard drive where I can save all my work, and no matter what computer I'm at, I can access it. What computer I'm at in school, I can access it. Students learn how to post ideas, read and respond to their peers, and this leads to peer review, editing. Basically, it gets the students more engaged in their own learning, and helps other students hear learning through a different voice rather than just the teachers. And a one-to-one environment makes this possible because students think outside the box. Another one is another notes I took after watching this presentation is they need to leave class exhausted by the challenge of work it brings you, because classwork now is basically, you know, lecturing, watching a video, stuff like that. With one-to-one, you can make classwork challenging. You could delegate better assignments. You can assign assignments, and a lot of this stuff is made available through one-to-one learning. Students are tested too much, the presentation says. Too much assessments, too much formative assessments, or too much summative assessments. During this, we can get more authentic assessments. You could have them develop a project, create a project with groups, as far as, you know, peer review with other groups, brainstorm through these different websites and resources that I'm going to share. We have Photo Story 3. Students can narrate a project and show understanding. We have Build for Wild Self. Students can create creatures, real or fake. So they can create real creatures that can be used in a science class and also be used in an English class to show creativity. There's mapping tools, drawing tools to create collaboration with other students. Create a map or brainstorm for you, the teacher, or your peers to comment on. You have MindMeister. Create mind maps for people to follow your thoughts and for your students to comment. Same thing on WallWisher. Great program for students to create sticky notes for teacher, as far as to see notes for tests. So you can have your students create note cards for tests via sticky notes from WallWisher. You can put notes for fellow students or even the teacher themselves. So there's a bunch of different. The presentation was mainly about offering different types of apps and resources to one-to-one learning. So, and it ends the presentation kind of the way it begins. It says, would you rather computers for everybody or pen and paper? That was kind of the very ending closure statement. So, and then it ends with enough said after they show the picture of the kids falling asleep on their desk. So this is really a good idea, and like I mentioned in my school, we're going one-to-one. So, and I've been at a one-to-one school before. Last year I was at a high school, and I was just a substituting coach there, but I got to witness one-to-one. Every kid had an iPad. So the next question is benefits and challenges. Well, we know the benefits. The benefits is obviously getting the kids engaged, making sure they don't lose their notes, making sure that they can always go somewhere to find out what's assigned and when it's due, rather than being relied on writing notes in class. Communication is a big time benefit for one-to-one, because it's just another outlet of communication rather than verbal. Now you have visual communication, you have audio communication, you can have them actually collaborate with other kids as far as communication. You're just a touch away from emailing your peers to find out what's due and when it's due. So communication is obviously a huge benefit. Now, like most things, people don't want to talk about the negatives. Well, like I've said in my brief experience last year subbing at a one-to-one school, a big time negative is using it for games. That was a huge negative. Now, it may have been that I was just a substitute teacher, but using it for games was a huge negative. They weren't on task. They were using it as far as messaging each other. They weren't using it efficiently. So that's obviously a huge negative. But you're going to get that negative with almost every type of resource you use, not just technology. So definitely there has to be some type of filter as far as the website viewing. There has to be some type of monitoring by teachers. However, if you take away the whole lecture, the classic style of just lecture and I'm me as the teacher's the giver and you're the student's the receiver, if you take away that and you start holding kids accountable and you integrate technology, there's more free time for teachers to walk around. There's more free time for teachers to monitor how they're using the one-to-one system. How can I implement in this classroom? Easy. That's very easy. I can have them, as far as the kids that I deal with, all have learning disabilities, so they can use their one-to-one for organizational skills would be my first off top of my head. Organizational skills, writing down calendars, writing down sticky notes to remind themselves of what and when's due. Different types of binders in their computer where they can put assignments here and assignments there in different classes, so it's not overwhelming. I deal with a lot of kids with anxiety issues, and the number one thing that to deal with anxiety is to create a consistent environment. And what's more consistent than if you know exactly what's due and when it's due and you have a routine. So your routine is you have your one-to-one, you have your tablet, your laptop in front of you. Something comes, you put it in a folder. You go home, you use your one-to-one, you use your tablet, you use your computer to open up an assignment, to open up a certain website. You know where everything's at. No more cluttered backpacks, no more cluttered rooms. Your books are all online. Your notes are all online. It's all in a folder. Really helps these kids to be consistent where they can have a reliable environment. So it's very easy for me to use. That's not a challenge at all. And finally, kind of a stimulated question for everybody to take a look is, what are your thoughts? Most of us being new teachers here, and new to definitely the one-to-one classroom, should there be more classes that are mandatory for us to take that's similar to this one? In the teacher credential program, should you be forced to take a technology class? Should you be forced to take a one-to-one? Be specific about it. A one-to-one technology class. How do you integrate technology into your classroom via one-to-one? I mean, everyone can take a class and learn how to use a PowerPoint or learn how to use a projector. I mean, that's the credential classes that I took, at least. Like, oh, I used a projector. Great. But now what about nowadays, 21st century, where schools are becoming one-to-one? Should we force our teachers to take classes in this? So the new teachers now, what's really good about exciting for me, at least being a new teacher in the times of education now, is that we're all starting brand new. The old teachers who've been there for 30 years, they're asking me on how to use computers. So we're not starting behind the 8 ball per se. They may have more experience in teaching, but as far as the new way of teaching, I think it's very exciting for new teachers because we're all starting from the same starting point. So my question would be, should everyone, especially the new teachers upcoming in credential programs, should they be required to take a class devoted to one-to-one learning? And that's my question. The website is right here, www.portical.org/presentations/TICAL. It's kind of long, so what I'll do is I will attach it to the assignments 2.1 along with this. Thank you very much.